Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. And we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm your host, Jeffrey, and subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Now, today, me and Buckeye Mike give our preview and predictions for every Week 1 XFL game.
The week 1 slate looks like this. So we got on Saturday to kick it all off. We got the Vegas Vipers at the Arlington Renegades. And after that, we have the Orlando Guardians and the Houston Roughnecks.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how many people are watching on FX instead of ESPN. But you got the Vegas Vipers at Arlington. So, I mean, you're going to have your first look at, Kyle Sloter. I'm assuming he's going to be the starting quarterback. I mean, Drew Plitt, he was solid in college, but I would think it's Kyle Sloter. I don't know much about Kevin Anderson. And then you've got for the Vegas Vipers, you've got Brett Hundley, Jalen McClellan, Luis Perez.
I think it's going to be Hundley, in my opinion.
Hundley, yeah. That's a tough one. I'd probably go with Arlington on that one by 7. I mean, we're gonna get a much better feel for these teams once they play a few games and we can actually see who's good. But I'll probably take Arlington like 24 or 17.
All right. I would say I probably would go Vegas Vipers. 28-24. I mean, to your point, yes, it's probably going to be close no matter what. Because, week 1 jitters, figuring things out, finally playing televised live action. So, I mean, it's going to be that way across the board. To your point, we probably won't have a full feel for everyone until week 3.
I mean, our records are probably going to be bad on these until like week 4. And we're going to see some 0-3 teams. Like, oh, we're not picking them. They're 0-3 for a reason. So the next game, we got Orlando Guardians at Houston Roughnecks. I really, really like Orlando. I think they got a really good team. It's just the quarterback slot that needs to be figured out. So could be wrong, but I'm going to take Orlando 21-14 over Houston.
Oh, this one is tough for me because technically, if we want to be technical, the second iteration of this league, the 2020 version, I really liked Houston with PJ Walker. Obviously, he's not there this time. He's with
Panthers.
Yeah, he's with your awesome Carolina Panthers. And I still like them to make the playoffs. I don't know the layout for the divisions because you can almost guess. The only outlier is with having the DC Defenders, which are awesome. But I think, Houston has the potential to be a playoff team, but I just like DeAndre Francois. I think we're probably going to have a Paxton Lynch play one half, Francois play the other half. I think they may start the game with Paxton and finish the game with Francois. If that's the case, I think that when Francois comes in, he's going to take it over and Orlando could create separation from Houston. I think Orlando will win this game. Potentially, you could see it being a higher, more separation, but I'm going to say 24-14 Orlando.
I mean, I'm with you. I mean, it's literally, to me, it's going to come down to with Orlando, you got to get the quarterback situation figured out. And if DeAndre Francois can play like he did at Florida State, now I know it feels a lifetime ago. Jimbo Fisher was coaching Florida State still. But still, that guy was really good. And they've got a really good team. A lot of notable players. I'm just, seeing, good things out of that roster. But if the quarterback situation is not figured out for Orlando, then they could be bad. But I think their upside is high. So I'm going to pick them. But to your point, if DeAndre Francois does not come into the game, very much, and Paxton Lynch is struggling, they can lose. But if they bring DeAndre Francois in, I think they can win. If it's at least a whole half.
So that being said, on Sunday, to start off, we got the St. Louis Battlehawks, led by Mr. A.J. McCarron, going up against the San Antonio Brahmas in San Antonio, led by Jack Cohn. And we got the Seattle Sea Dragons at the Jordan Teamu led DC Defenders. That first game for me, I'll let you go first, but I'll say this. That first game for me, the St. Louis San Antonio game, is so tough because I like Jack Cohn for Will's sake. I like Jack Cohn. He's a good quarterback. I do admit he's good. But, man, there's something about St. Louis and finally having a team back, a professional football team back in St. Louis. And I love
the XFL.
A.J. McCarron. A.J. McCarron, when he played at Bama, didn't like Bama. But as a player, an individual player, A.J. McCarron is so good.
Yeah, so this is obviously Hines Ward's first, coaching game here, with the Brahmas. I think Jack Cohn, there's going to be, a little bit of a rough patch first game coaching. I think you have the experience with McCarron. He hasn't played in a while, but I think he has the, experience here. I'm going to go with St. Louis in this one, 27-21.
Like I said, this one is so tough for me. I'm sure we'll see some rust from McCarron because I'm sure it's been a while. To your point, is there going to be rough patches with Cohn and Hines Ward? Hines Ward's first ever coaching job. Overall, just going to be interesting. I think you're close. So for this one, I'm going to go St. Louis 28-24. So the next one is basically the exact same game that we got to kick off the entire 2020 version. They just slightly changed Seattle's name. But other than that, it's the same exact matchup. You go from the Seattle Dragons versus at DC Defenders to Seattle Sea Dragons at DC Defenders. So what do you think about this one?
Yeah, Seattle's the only team that I don't really like. The quarterback position is not like flashing at me. I mean, you've got Ben DiNucci, Steven Montez. I mean, they're, both quality players, but just nothing like jumps off the page like a Jordan Ta'amu or a Paxton Lynch even, or, A.J. McCarron with like the name. I think that, any of those quarterbacks could be pretty solid. I mean, like you said, they got Josh Gordon at receivers. So, I mean, they got some players that are pretty solid. But you just look at the DC Defenders. I just think that you look at their roster, quarterback situation. You've got three potentially really good quarterbacks here. I mean, I don't even know who should be the starting quarterback. Jordan Tommy, De'Aaron King, Eric Dungy. I could literally see any of those three playing really quality football for DC because all of them had their moments in college. All of them did. I mean, Eric Dungy was great at Syracuse that one year. De'Aaron King, especially when he was at Houston before he got hurt, was really, really good. And Jordan Thomas had his moments. So I don't even know who's going to be the quarterback, but I think that any of those three could be really good. Puka Williams, Abram Smith at running back, that's solid. And then you've got really quality defensive players as well, Reggie North. I just see a lot with DC, so I'm going to go with DC over Seattle, 24-21.
I didn't realize De'Aaron King is on DC. To your point, Ben DiNucci is the only, realistically, if you look at all the quarterbacks, he's like the only average quarterback in this league as far as the starters or potential starters. As I stated earlier, Jordan was in this league in the second iteration in 2020. He was with St. Louis. So he does have that experience. Granted, it's a whole different team. It's different rosters across the board. I just really like DC a lot, just overall. I know, yes, I'm sad that 12 Gauge is not playing for DC anymore, but he's on to better pastures where he can truly sling it around. I think because overall as a season, for Seattle to have success, it's going to come down to how good can Josh Gordon and the weapons that Seattle has make Ben DiNucci look.
Yes.
And I find this one to be the only one to be the closest thing to a blowout because you're having to find that rhythm between Ben DiNucci and the rest of, the weapons. I think DC runs away with this one. I'm going to say 24-7.
I could definitely see that. I mean, I did keep the scores relatively close because it's week one and it's just so tough to know, how these teams are going to play. And usually there's a rough patch because it's your first game, so you just feel like no one's really going to be clicking on all cylinders. But like you said, if I could see a blowout, it could be that game. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below which teams you think will win the Week 1 XFL games, and I will see you next time.